right? The client has goals. So part of my job with the financial stuff is to get them their financial goals like in a way where you're also able to help them. Like I don't know if that makes sense,
It
but
does make sense. Because whenever you tell me numbers, I go by the numbers that you tell me.
Right.
So the clients will not waste their time. I'm not going to waste their time showing them houses that they cannot even afford.
yeah.
And the APR is going up every single day. The faster I can get them into a house, the
Yeah.
better for them. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back.
What's
Welcome
up,
back,
everyone?
everybody. This is the Home Lab, where we discuss everything and anything about real estate. My name is Choi and Ant. I'm in here with Anthony Buetti. I'm a local realtor around the area, and Anthony's a loan originator. I think this is our second episode.
This is.
Yeah, the first episode that we have is kind of good.
It wasn't bad. It was a
wasn't
good
bad.
dry run, but here we are. This is like I feel like this is our first official episode.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. And I hope that, this takes us somewhere.
It's going to.
Yeah.
To the moon.
Exactly. Hey, man, first of all, before we start this, I just want to send a huge shout out to Mark Hernandez. He actually helped me out, put this thing together.
He's the man.
He is, man.
He is.
He told me what equipments to use, and it's amazing.
A week later,
and you know
we're
that.
sitting here. Guys, Choi is an unbelievable person. I've known Choi for a couple years now, and honestly, it's so cool to watch Choi. Like, he gets an idea in his head, and he just doesn't stop. And a week ago, we made a video, and now we are sitting here with microphones, and it's all professional. And I've never been in such a professional podcasting environment.
I know.
I
This
feel
is not
so
professional yet.
No, this is though. This is.
All right, so let's talk about the housing market.
Yeah, let's go.
I think that's the first good topic
Yeah.
on our second episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? You want to start this?
Yeah. I think the housing market, as you know, is definitely weird. I heard something the other day, and I think it's kind of true. If the housing market was a relationship status on Facebook, it would be it's complicated, right? So
That's a good one, though.
That's the
That's a
way
good
we
one.
can sum up the market, right? So I think for people that are interested in the housing market, not sure if they want to get in or out of it for any particular reason, listening to people like us, I think could really help help you get educated and make a decision, right? So, I think for me, asking Choi what he does on a day in and day out basis is going to be important. What do you do, Choi? So, when you're meeting with clients, what are you doing to separate yourself from the competition, and what are you seeing in the housing market?
Oh, wow. You're going to put me on the spot, man.
I am. Yeah.
I like it, though. I like
Yeah.
it. So, I really hate talking about myself, but I'll answer
gonna
that
make you
question.
talk about-
I'm going to answer that question, though. So, I think what separates me between other realtors out there is I'm a Mr. Gonna make it happen guy. Like, whatever it takes, I'm gonna make the deal happen. As long as you tell me I love this house and I see myself having my family in here, getting old in this house, and I'm gonna make it happen for you. My negotiation skills are crazy insane, and I present everybody with facts. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell them the honest truth, and I tell them the reason why these clients deserve this house. Like, when I had that deal last March, we were supposed to lose that deal because we were $10,000 below asking. But I presented it to them in a way that I told them that the client is currently pregnant and she's gonna have the baby soon. The mother of that client lives 2 houses down.
Right.
So they see the importance of that house for this client. So they were like, okay, we'll just give you the house.
Yeah.
And that, that kind of really helped out a lot. And other than that, again, I really hate talking about myself. So I'm not sure if any other realtor does this or it's only me, but I'm going to give out one of my tricks that I do to get
Go.
clients.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I actually have a list of clients, previous clients that I have. It's their legit phone number, it's legit email, and all their informations are in there. For example, you're my client, I'll give you that list. And I'll tell you, hey, you don't have to hear it from me. Because you hearing it from me, it's if I'll give you that list, you can pick and choose who you ever want to call in there and ask them about me.
Right.
And trust me, bro, like that client that we're closing in October actually did that.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
They called one of my clients that closed in Bayville in January.
Wow, that's cool.
And yes.
I think that's, I'm going to talk about you. You know, it's hard to talk about yourself. I struggle with it.
Exactly.
I struggle with that as well. But, you know, I think you are, if I, in one sentence, can explain what you do for people, it's run through brick walls. You will not stop until you get that goal of the client achieved.
Thanks,
You're
man.
you're in it for a couple years now, I think, right? You started in 2020, right?
I'm gonna be honest, it's a year and a half.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that because people judge me, bro.
No.
Whenever they find out, oh, you only been in the business for a year and a half, and I'm like, I mean, don't
It
even
doesn't
look
even-
at that.
it doesn't even matter. I've been doing it for 10, 11 years, and I work with other agents, you know, and I've never seen really anybody climb as much as you have and done
Thanks
as much
a lot,
as you have, you
man.
know. But, you know, again, I think like you just don't stop in a good way. You're good at negotiating. You just find a way to make deals work. The market has been complicated, as we just talked about.
It is.
And like everybody's complaining about not getting an offer accepted and not winning, and like here you are, like everybody else is complaining and you're not, and you're just like deals are happening. You're making deals happen, which I think is a good skill set. You know, I
Thanks a
don't know.
lot,
I don't know
man.
how you figured out how to do that, but
I need to
it's
give
awesome.
your props though. I don't want to cut you off, but bro, I have to give your props because you know that for a fact. Some of my deals, I have to give you a call.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, hey Anthony, Galloway deal.
Yeah.
Hey Anthony, you have to call these people and let them know that they're 100% approved. And the exact words that you said is these clients can buy 2 houses like yours.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my God.
Yeah. It
Like
brings
the
them
way you
down to
negotiate
reality.
too. The way you negotiate, it's not even only about me. It's the people around me.
Yeah.
Like the circle that we have, you, me, and other people around us. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the way we work together is just
It's
so
really good. I
It's
agree.
so good.
I agree. And it is really a team effort, you know?
It is.
Like understanding what like you want and what you need and what clients want and what they need, we can all kind of work together. And that's the client too, right? The client has goals. So part of my job with the financial stuff is to get them their financial goals like in a way where you're also able to help them. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but
It does make sense. Because whenever you tell me numbers, I go by the numbers that you tell me.
Right.
So the clients will not waste their time. I'm not going to waste their time showing them houses that they cannot even afford.
Yeah.
And the APR is going up every single day. The faster I can get them into a house, the
Yeah.
better for them.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of put that, I got to let them know that, hey, we're not in a rush, but at the same time, you're trying to catch up the lower APRs
Yeah.
because the APR is going up.
Yep.
But again, I want to talk about the APR in the market.
Sure.
Because I think there's a really big misconception because the media and the news outlets are like releasing all this news that the market is gonna crash. I just hate saying I just hate saying and hate hearing that. And the way you did it yesterday was like perfect, bro.
Well, I tried. That was a one take.
I like that.
That
I
was a
like
one
that.
take video. But you know, interest rates are obviously important, but it's really not everything, right? So, you know, I was talking to I talk to clients all the time, right? And you know this, but you know, it's not necessarily like what the rate is. It's what the price of the house is, why you're looking to buy a house. Like, you know, people, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I didn't tell you this, but like they were complaining about their rent. And I'm like, well, your rent's 100% interest. You understand that, right? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you don't own anything. Like your 7% rate, which is around where they are right now, like that stinks, but that's much better than renting in most situations. So I don't know. I think the rates are definitely a problem right now, but I think it's an opportunity, right? A lot of people are afraid. They're putting themselves on the sidelines. They're waiting for everything to settle down. But I think, you know, the people that are taking action right now are the ones who are going to win. You know, I think, you know, I was telling this to Choi the other day, but, you know, before the last, you know, couple months of rate hikes happened, you had to go $100,000 over asking price for a really desirable house. You don't have to do that anymore. So that is much better than having the higher interest rate. I'd much rather have a higher interest rate with a lower price than a higher price with a low interest rate. You know, it's really about payment and affordability, in my opinion. So, you know, I think when you're looking at a house, obviously the rates are higher, but talk to someone, myself, Choi, anybody. Just talk to someone who is in the business and understands it, and it might not be as scary as you think.
Yes, and I 100% agree with you. The market is not gonna crash.
No.
I can see I can see the numbers already right
Yeah.
now. Like I think this is a good thing
Let's go. I love numbers.
because as you know, like the supply and demand basics. You know, when there's no supply and the demand is high, the prices goes up.
Yep.
And with the APR going up, it kind of finds its midpoint in there.
Yeah.
As of right now, this is an Ocean and Mammoth County. All right. I'm not sure if you have the MLS, but I'm gonna tell you this.
I don't,
too.
but I love the numbers. Let's go.
So the numbers currently today is Thursday at 10:30. There's currently 3,413 homes currently active and online for sale.
That's
Right now, only in those two counties already.
yeah.
Right? And on top of that, I'll just give you this an example again. Me myself on my CRM. CRM is the system that we use where we put all the people that's active currently looking for houses.
Right.
I myself have 15,482 people right now, and I'm only one realtor.
Right.
So just imagine how many realtors out there got a couple thousand and couple hundreds of people on their list looking for a house as well, So there's only 3,400 homes, and there's thousands of people still looking for homes.
That's crazy, bro. I mean, and that's part of the problem, as Choi said. Like, housing is supply and demand. So something I had made a comment about in a different video was every market behaves differently, right? The real estate market or the country has over 300 housing markets in it that behave and act differently depending on migration and jobs and supply and demand. And supply and demand, I think, is the biggest thing right now driving real estate prices either up or down. Right now, there's downward pressure in certain markets, and that's really making national news. So you have your Phoenix, you have your Vegas, your California coastal markets. Those markets are struggling right now. They're not struggling, but there's a lot of inventory coming on the market. So sellers are having a harder time than they were for the last couple of years. We're on the East Coast. We are in a very, very unique spot in a good way. And as Choi said, there's 3,300 houses in all of Ocean and Monmouth County on the market right now. That's a problem. If you look back 3 or 4 years ago,
3,400.
3,400, right?
Yes.
That's low.
I like the way that you said it too, that we really are in the middle of two big cities,
Yeah.
right? Philadelphia and New York.
Yeah.
The cost of living in those two main cities are really, really high.
Yeah.
My sister, I don't want to say how much she rents, but she rents in Jersey City.
That's a lot.
Oh my God.
And what does she get in Jersey City? Is she in an
A
apartment?
studio.
All right. So she
Gets a studio. And
Right.
in here, I'm paying almost the same amount of money.
Right.
I don't want to say what my house is.
Yeah.
But you know it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that Choi just hit it on the head, right? So when we're talking to clients, most of our clients understand that where we live is much more affordable and you get more value. You can get a yard. You can park your car in the driveway. You're close to the beach. You can still commute to work. And we've always been, we've always had migration from New York City, from Philadelphia. But with COVID, it's gotten crazier because now people don't have to go into New York City every day. They can go in 1 or 2 days a week. So if I'm paying $4,000 a month for a studio in New York City, which I think the average in New York City for rent is $4,000 or $4,500, you can come down here and buy a house on the water and have a $4,000 mortgage.
Yeah,
sometimes
100%.
less. So I'd rather live on the water and see that beautiful bay, right, than live in the city and get worried about crime. I don't know. So I think that's a major driver. But something that we've had an issue with is inventory, right? We used to have 15,000 houses on the market 3 years ago before COVID, and we literally have not been able to go up. That's a problem.
It is. Prior COVID, from what I heard, because I wasn't a realtor yet back then, there was 8,000, 7,000 around that
Was it that?
area. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like half.
Yeah,
we're currently on half right now.
Right. So we have half the supply
Half the supply
and
and
demand
double
is
the
higher.
demand.
Right.
Double the demand. Half the supply, double the demand. That's basically, again, we're just talking about Ocean and Mammoth County.
Right.
Every market is different, as
Right.
as what you mentioned earlier. And what I don't get too is some people that's renting that much money, they even work from home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you should just get a property because you're building your equity in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
It's like, as we mentioned on the other video before, that real estate prices will go up. It can shoot down sometimes, but historically, it keeps on going up and up and up.
Yeah.
So might as well save those $3,000 payments
And build your equity.
Build your equity.
Something that I realized, I had an epiphany last night. I was sitting there watching TV, and I thought about it. And a lot of people will, right now, again, there's uncertainty in the market, and when there's uncertainty, people put themselves on the sidelines, and they're scared. Which I could understand to an extent. There are some days where I'm like, what's going to happen? Right? Like it can feel weird sometimes. But if you think about it, the American consumer, and I'm guilty of this, we all run out and we try and buy sales on Black Friday, right? We will stay and people will park their car and camp outside of a Best Buy to get a good deal on a TV. If real estate prices flatten out, or you can go in and negotiate with Choi a concession where you don't have to pay your closing costs or under asking price and get a good deal and a good value on a house, that's like better than a Black Friday deal. Like, what if you're willing to go buy consumer goods that are going to be worth nothing in 5 years?
Exactly.
Why not try and get a deal on real estate right now? That's the way I see it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we were just talking earlier downstairs in the driveway, and we were talking about cars.
Yeah.
Right? And I like the way that you're thinking, that you're buying all this real estate because in the future you just want to buy your dream car.
Yeah.
And I think everybody should have that mentality. People keep on buying expensive stuff right now, which is worthless within the next couple years. What are you going to give your kids, like if something happens and this and that? And I think just planning for the future, I think that will be better for everybody if everybody knows how to do it. And I think this is a good thing. That's why we're doing this podcast. Yeah. Because people might not realize that I bought this, I bought that. And next thing you know, they don't have any money within the next couple months. Yeah. And especially like, I'm going to give this as an example, bro. Like when you're paying a rent, right? Mm-hmm. For example, paying $2,000 a month per month on the rent. A year of that is $24,000.
It's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
And 5 years of renting for $2,000 a month is $120,000.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
$120,000. That could be your equity already. Yeah. Instead of you paying your landlord, and that will be your landlord's equity. Yeah. I hate saying this because I'm a landlord as well, and I know you're a landlord too. Yeah. But this is just the reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reality is people need to rent, right? Like
people need to rent.
There is a percentage of people that want to rent. I could understand it. And, part of our job is to analyze someone's situation, right? So when we have a client that isn't sure if they want to buy, we can go through that scenario with them and we can, kind of roadmap and say like, maybe not now. Maybe you don't buy a house right now. Maybe you buy a house in a year. So there are people that it makes sense to rent, but like you're totally right. You're basically throwing that money in the garbage. And I think right now is a great time if you could afford it and the monthly payments aren't crazy and you understand the market economics in our area, like Choi will negotiate a fantastic deal from you because the sellers are now seeing headline news and they're getting scared. Mm-hmm. So there are, not everywhere, but there are some opportunities where sellers are like, wait a minute, we're going to the holidays. It's getting weird. I just got to get out of this thing. And, I'll give this example. Choi was able to negotiate a house pretty significantly under asking price where the buyer didn't have to bring any money to closing. Like that would have never happened prior to August of this year.
That was a tough one too.
That was a tough one, but we got it done. And the guy literally got a check back at closing for his deposit. He had to put a deposit down. He got it back. Like that doesn't happen. And now it is. And we, that's something that like Choi can make happen for you.
Yes, and thank you for the help of that one too. I don't want to take all the credit because I know you did.
We did it. It's a team effort.
We did it together. Again, we did it together.
It's a team effort.
Thanks a lot for all the help on that. I mean, I know a lot of my clients because a lot of my clients are on my Facebook right now, and they will see this video. And this is Anthony, guys. I know they
What's up, everyone? I hide behind the phone.
You. Exactly. That's why when you see my videos, Anthony's is not there because he's busy doing business and stuff. Another thing too is a lot of people are asking, is it a good time to buy right now? I want to take that scare away from them. Yeah. I'm going to give you guys a perfect example. I don't even know if I can say this, but I'll say it
Just
anyways.
Say it. Who cares? We can edit it out if not.
Yeah. Anthony is a loan mortgage originator. Yep. Right? So, of course, he knows what's going on in the market and this and that. And if he bought a house last week, then everybody can buy a house. Yep. Like what? Anthony is not dumb. Like as you guys all know, and if he bought a house last week, this is a good time to buy. Like you just follow that. Why did he buy a house last week? Because he believes that this APR is still okay. Yeah. And you can.
Yeah, I can totally elaborate on that. I mean, I did buy a house last week. It was probably a week and a half ago. I'm fine talking about it. And as I'm realizing that like you and I have all this knowledge, and part of this podcast and part of us making videos is to educate people. People need to be educated, right? So that's what we want to do. So, if you can find a deal that makes sense, as an investor, I'm going to buy that deal all day long. Choi's an investor. He has a rental property. He became an investor this year. I know you want more, and we're going to help you get more. Like you're going to own a lot of rental properties, right? And there's a multitude of ways of getting them. But, there is a problem with American home ownership right now. A lot of people want to own homes. Choi and I are in our 30s, and a lot of people in our generation do not own homes, and they want to, and they need to. And the reality is, the builders did not build enough housing. I know it's crazy. We're talking,
Oh my
it's just
God.
rolling. I mean, a lot of builders did not build enough homes when the market crashed, right? So we have the millennial generation, which is, I think, now 26 to 42-year-olds. And we're the biggest generation in the country, like bigger than the baby boomer generation. So we have people living longer, and we have millennials that are aging into home buying age. We're all starting families, we're having kids, and we need houses. The problem is they didn't build enough of them. And, they realized that a couple of years ago. COVID accelerated the urgency and how much housing we needed, but there's not enough houses. And you look at certain markets where, like our market we've talked about at this point today, like we don't have enough houses, and there's not a really easy way to get housing on the market, right? So if you're looking at a house and you want to stay under like a $400,000 or $500,000 price range, which is a pretty healthy price range,
It is.
there's not a lot. So out of that inventory that Choi said, I'm curious, we can maybe do a video at a later time. Like how much of those 3,400 houses are $700,000 or higher?
Actually, I can filter
Look
them
at
right
that.
now.
Well, yeah.
'Cause you're 100% right. I actually didn't thought of that.
That's the thing. The other factor too, like, so we have a problem building houses that are affordable for people because building is expensive, land is expensive. There's not a lot of room to build around here. The other factor too, as rates go higher, people that have a good interest rate on their house and don't necessarily need to move aren't going to list their house. So that's actually going to further the inventory crisis that we're in. So if I have a 2.5% rate or a 3% mortgage rate on my house, and if I don't have to move, I'm not going to sell that house. So that's going to worsen the inventory problem as the rates go higher.
So Ocean County
Yeah.
and Mammoth County, currently 500 and below. There's 1,419.
Yeah, that's
That's again
the problem. That's the problem.
It is.
That's the
It is.
absolute problem.
And I know we talked about this in the other videos too. There's not enough lands.
No, there's no room to build.
There's no room to build anymore, and that actually drives the price up as well.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. And as I said, I've said this a few times, but the higher rates go, the more people that have good rates on their existing house aren't going to sell it.
Exactly.
Even if they want to move, like they're going to just make their house that they own a rental property, and they're going to keep it because why sell a house with a 3% mortgage rate?
You're 100% right.
It's crazy.
I think we need to cut it off.
Yeah,
in
we
here.
gotta cut it
there's,
off.
There's so much more information that we can say in this
Yeah.
one, but let's cut it off in
Yeah.
here. And we'll discuss maybe APR on the next one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.